Hey y'all, habari zenu, horo wanyu, como está, guten morgen, konnichiwa, and other greetings. This is going to be a very interesting video only because of the format, the style, the material in it. It's gonna be two parts, technically one video, but shot in two different times. The initial part was made around July 2024. I just never got around to posting it. And I'm posting it now for a specific reason. One, the relevance. I've been meaning to post it, I just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's very important for me to give my thoughts on this matter just because, again, I feel the way I feel about this person and I have every right to feel the way I feel about them. And some of you might disagree with me, but there are reasons behind my madness, so stay tuned for this. I met Candace Owens in June 2024. I was blessed to be invited to a Brexit TPA combined event. And it's funny now thinking back because I actually got to meet Charlie Kirk. My husband actually shook his hand and it took us a minute because we were in a rush. And he's like, oh my God, babe, Charlie Kirk. I was like, yay, I like Charlie Kirk. I don't always agree with him, especially on matters of immigration. He and I are like, pew, 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 But on the same day, I got to meet Candace and I actually got to sign my book, Blackout. Now, with that being said, came to find out about Candace when I started my journey on TikTok, because I started with talking about cultural appropriation and appreciation, and then it went into being attacked by the left, and at the moment I did not know it was the left at the time, especially the chocolate Democrats, aka the black Democrats. And then I came to speak out on all that, and then somehow I got called a Candace Owens wannabe, and I got curious about who Candace was, and I found out who she was, and she helped me leave the left, and all that stuff. So here is that story about how I met her. History with Candace. So Candace Owens came to my radar in 2020. Right around the time I was waking up from BLM and waking up from the Democrat Party and realizing, oh, these guys are not about unity and minorities and uniting America. It's the exact opposite. So, because again, the tolerant left. I was being harassed online, I was being insulted. Oh, how dare you go against your own people and this and that. Just a lot of nonsense that has become so... I've become immune to it at this point because it's been happening for 4 years. Like, you get tired of this crap, you become immune to it. But one of the insults, again, they call you insults, but they're not really insults. Someone said I was a Candace Owens wannabe. And I was curious. I was like, who is Candace Owens? And I looked her up. So my response, and it wasn't one comment or one person who said this to me. And my response became, thank you. Why would I be offended by that? She's beautiful, she's eloquent, she's intelligent, she's outspoken. Duh, thanks. And I started listening to Candace and looking her up and learning that she's a former Democrat. And most of the chocolate conservatives you see now, and I say chocolate, not black, because I don't like calling people black and white because we're not colors. So if you see me saying chocolate, that's what I mean, dark-skinned conservatives. Most of them are former Democrats. It's why I really listen to them, because they've been on both sides of the fence. And they won't just say, oh, I just changed my mind. This is why. These are the patterns I noticed. This is what made me switch. This is what my wake-up moment was, to learn that they're not out for my own interest, they're not out for my benefit, that they just pander to me and they just want my vote, and then it stops there. Our cities are full of crime and so on and so on and so forth. So it was really interesting to watch her, along with Thomas Sowell and Ben Carson, although he's not as outspoken as I wish he would be, Larry Elder. And then of course, with all these things, I started meeting more and running into more dark-skinned conservatives on TikTok, people like John Dawson and Craig Long and Mr. Black's Full Black Service. It's been freaking amazing. It's been an amazing experience just meeting these individuals, even if it was an online only affair in the beginning. Now, the way this came about, me meeting Candace, was Brexit. Candace founded Brexit together with Brandon. And I love Brandon. Officer Brandon is really awesome. Officer Tatum. For those, I'm going to link these pages below so you can check them out if you've not. If you are a young person Gen Z especially, and you're just trying to figure out who you are and where your values lie, and you feel like your values are more on the conservative side, or you just have questions and curiosity, please check them out. They will change your mind. Blexit had an event in Detroit, Michigan, and as part of TPA, with a partnership with TPA, and we got invited. My husband and I got invited because we've been creators on TikTok for a while, but then we keep getting banned because we are fan self. We offend everyone with the truth. So someone reached out to us and they're like, hey, we'd love to have you guys. You know, we'll take care of the flight and such and such. Just can you come and meet us up? And I was like, hell yes, say no more. And we did. We went, and the event was. This is happening in June of this year, 2024. Candace was speaking that night, and actually, let me backtrack some. So Tofa, for those who don't know Tofa, he is an amazing person, an amazing man of God, an amazing human. He's so sweet, so humble, very outspoken, an amazing musician as well, and he raps. My very first encounter with him, you know, the funny thing is, when I started kind of my conservative journey, he would pop up on my For You page, and his music would pop up on my For You page, and I would notice him hanging out at Trump rallies. I love his music. The Patriot is an amazing song. I'm gonna link it again in the description area. I remember 2020, each time someone would come at me, I would use Tofa's song, The Patriot, as a response. He's always wearing this red beanie, so I knew him as the red beanie guy. So meeting him in person was so wild. I could not believe I was meeting Tofa. Anyway, so I of course I got his contact and I was like, Tofa, if you could please, I would love to meet Candace. I know she's a busy woman. I know she's in and out because she's coming to speak for a little bit. I know she has kids. She has to run back to the hotel and whatever, but I would love if you could. And he was just like, I'll do what I can. I was so determined when I am meeting Candace. And I made it happen thanks to Tofa. So Tofa, thank you so much. You guys, it was so wild. It was so wild to meet someone in person who's made such a huge difference and who is not ashamed to her convictions. She does not back down from the hate, and she's been an inspiration for me in my conservative journey, and as a woman and as a conservative. So anyway, I met her. We went, she spoke for a bit, and then in the back, Tofa was like, right now, go time, and I'm gonna insert the video here. My husband was trying to manage the baby and me, you know, taking the moment, capturing the moment, and also minding our baby, because we had to take her with us to Michigan. It was just a quick introduction. Hey, this lady really wants you to sign her book. And her book, I mean like her copy, you know, my copy of her book. So she's like, okay, let's do it. I don't fangirl for people. Actually, now seeing what the celebrities they just become all woke sheep. I don't fangirl for a lot of people, but I fangirled for Candace. I was being called a Candace wannabe, and it was the biggest compliment ever. So to meet her in person was so wild. That was a momentous occasion I will never forget, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have met her. Right?
Yeah. It's gonna be legendary right here, man.
Let's get it.
Word. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. I'm just here to bring the facts. I'm not worried about your feelings. It's the way that y'all react. It goes way beyond the killings. Y'all can focus on the bad while I keep being the realest. Got me looking at the stats, trying to find out what the deal is. Take a look at DOJ, murder rate and what they say. 52% on homicides, like we ain't taking vacay. That is sad. I don't get it. Then you blame it on your payment. No, it's not. You just ignorant. You the problem. Just admit it. Tired of us going through this cycle. Blaming others means you in denial. Situations getting dire, this is vital. So it's time for us to crack open the Bible and get back to the truth.
Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it. Yeah, I know you ain't gonna like it.
Now, with that being said, fast forward to 2025, June. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know what's been going on. At least you've heard stories. You've seen mutuals or certain conservative, especially conservative creators making content against Candace Owens. And I'm not going to be one of them. And I have my reasons for that. Now, a disclaimer is I admire Candace. I admire her journalistic skills. I admire her gall and her balls, because that woman's got balls, okay? I don't always agree with her. And that's the one thing people seem to really have a hard time doing, right? There's a saying that even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? You can learn from everyone. Whether or not you agree with them, you can learn from them. So I don't always agree with her. And those are the 3 top things I can mention where we don't agree. 1, she's a religious conservative. I'm not. So she doesn't believe in things like gay marriage. I do. The thing about people on student visas not getting arrested for protesting, I am very much pro that idea. Because if you're here on a student visa, you're here, it's almost like you have a permission slip, right? You are being allowed on US soil to learn. You're not here to protest or riot. I don't care if it's peaceful or not. You're not here to protest or riot. You don't have the freedom to riot or protest or speech because the constitutional rights don't apply to you because you're not a citizen. Neither are you a legal immigrant or a permanent resident. So I'm very much against the, oh, just let them do whatever they want to do. You're here on borrowed time. You get to dictate how you're going to behave. So that's number 2, what I don't agree with. 3, and I don't know if you people have this context of this conversation, and I hate when the people who scream, do your homework, don't do their homework. There's this clip going around. I watched it because I'm still subscribed to her YouTube. I love her channel. She makes me laugh. She reminds me of myself, to be completely honest. When the comment she made about someone allowing themselves to be dishonorably discharged by not answering the call to duty.
I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares?
That was actually someone who asked her that question on a live video. It was a live, what do they call those? It was a YouTube live. And someone asked her a question in the comments and she responded. I watched it happen in real time. So she was answering a question that she gave her opinion. You can disagree with it. You can feel however you want to feel about it. My feelings on it are, unfortunately, or as it goes, once you sign up to the military, you've sold your soul to the military. You've given away your rights as you will, right? You sold your soul, you sold your rights, you sold your ownership of you. So you don't own you anymore. The government owns you. I do respect our military, absolutely do. But then I also understand, the caveats and the terms and conditions that come with that. So that's why I feel the way I feel. And the Veterans Affairs being as crappy as it is, I have definitely discouraged my son from joining. Until the VA is fixed, your sacrifices are not really honored. It's a very honorable thing to do, but it's not, there isn't an ROI, except for PTSD and maybe losing a limb. What else are you coming back home to, So, for my thoughts are, once you join the military, you have to do what you're told. And I would never advise anyone to just refuse orders. Now, you can disagree, you can agree, let me know in the comment section. But that's my thoughts on that particular issue. So that's number 3, I've addressed that video. 4, she mentioned the fact that there are people getting paid to make content against her. I don't know the extent of that, obviously. I won't doubt her, but I also, I won't just take sides blindly. I won't say she's wrong either, right? Because why? So if you're gonna ask me, why are you supporting her despite everything she said? It's because I've been where she is. We share so many experiences. As far as you say something people don't like, you're labeled names, and by both the left and the right. I have been there. I have. Especially in the recent weeks, and if you've missed my videos, please go check them out. I made a video against the woke right, made a video against woke Kenyans, because sometimes you feel like you're standing alone, and the deeper you dig for information, the more unpopular an opinion you have, the less people want to support you outright, especially when you rebuke those who've been supporting you. Speak out against something they said, and now you're the enemy. My speaking out against Charlie Kirk's comments on legal and illegal immigrants and calling us third worlders and all that, I ruffled a few feathers. So the same people attacking Candace or making videos against her, the same people who are attacking me for speaking out against Charlie Kirk. I didn't say I hated him. I just said I disagree with this one stance. This is why. I was called emotional. I was called a baby. I was called a victim mentality. Me. Someone said I was emotionally weak because I triggered them. And then I remember this quote that says something in the lines of, if you're not allowed to criticize someone, they're the ones in power. Why can't I criticize? I've criticized Trump even, and I love him to death. I voted for him twice now, and if he ran again, I would vote for him again. But I don't always agree with everything he says or does. I'm allowed to criticize him. You should be able to criticize people that you love and support. Right? Candace made it very clear she supports Trump. She will vote for him, would vote for him again, because compared to the other option, it's like, However, she has certain stances about things he says about Iran, and I'm on the same page with that. I don't want us going to war with Iran. I'm neither pro-Iran nor am I pro-Israel. I am not a Zionist and I'm not an anti-Semite. And this thing where people are called names, criticizing the Israeli government does not make me an anti-Semite, right? Labeling names, throwing names at people because you feel a certain way about something they said makes you as bad as the woke left, y'all. You don't realize that. This jumping on the bandwagon thing, I've never been about that life. And that's why you see me making this video right now. Because I decided I don't want to go with the flow and jump on the trend. But I feel like my voice is needed. Being someone who's always admired Candace Owens. Again, we don't always agree on everything. But there are certain fundamentals we agree on. Especially when it comes to Democrat plantation. My next point is that she's a journalist, right? So she's going to speak on whatever she wants to speak on. She does have a legacy of doing her homework and digging deep, literally going down the rabbit hole and going down deep in the rabbit hole, inside the inception of the rabbit hole, deep in there. So I admire her journalistic skills. Whatever she uncovers might rub people the wrong way. But a lot of what she's uncovered, I appreciate because I have been thinking the same thing. Okay? But the fact that she seems to be going further away from what you would consider her path, and people saying, oh, it's because she had a kid, no, she's behaving this way, it must be postpartum depression, oh, it's because the man she married. You guys sound exactly like the woke left when they tell me I must be conservative because of who I married. Are you not listening to yourselves? So you think you're on the right side of history by using the same insults on her as they've used on her? Listen to yourselves. These are comments I've seen yesterday, today, basically the whole week. Oh, she must be getting paid. You don't know that. Just because she has a very unpopular opinion doesn't mean she's being paid. If anything, it probably is the opposite. Yes, I understand she has platformed people like Andrew Tate. I can't stand Tate. Let's get real. Ugh. The manosphere is Kanye West. You can platform people without endorsing them. Now, did she endorse them? I'm not sure. But I know for a fact that having these characters on her show rubbed people the wrong way. Her leaving the Daily Wire, I don't know what it had something to do with, but I have a feeling it has something to do with Israel, I think. The other lady also left. Crap, I'm going to put her name here because I'm having a mommy brain moment. A brain fart, if you will. So I cannot stand Zionists because why blindly support a country? Right? This interview between Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson, where he gets so emotional and angry. I'm like, God, you look so bad right now. Please stop.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on.
If you feel certain people are beyond reproach, you need to review your life again. You need to look at your choices and who you support and why you feel the way you feel. Because if you're triggered that someone was criticized, there's a problem, right? You feel they're beyond reproach, they're beyond critique. There's a problem there. And that's why I have a lot of respect for Candace, because she goes where no one is gonna dare go. And every time you say something like that, you become very unpopular with the conservatives, especially the right-wingers. And I feel like every day she's going closer to being a moderate. She's still a conservative, but I feel like every day, and she's not the only one. I have friends who have been on the left, they left the left, became absolutely Republican. Then they're like, that side is also a little ghetto sometimes, and they started moving this way, so they're more moderate now. I'm a libertarian, but I have my own very unique thoughts about things. That's why I'm at, and that's why I feel I can relate to Candace Owens as much as I do. I'm not saying she's right about everything. I'm not saying I agree with everything she says. I'm not saying don't feel a certain way about it, but be a critical thinker and don't go with the flow. Don't run to attack her and say things about her that sound exactly like the left when they're insulting me and saying I must have gone crazy, I must have been paid. They called me a sellout, and I was like, where's my money? Because from what I remember, I had to deal with, this is before I lost my TikTok account, I had to deal with multiple bans. I had to deal with CGVs, community guideline violations. I had to deal with mass reporting. I had to deal with insults, doxing, death threats. There was no money in it for me. And I got called all these names. I had articles written on me by some random journalist calling me a MAGA operative, because I am hardcore rocking MAGA still to this day. I'm hardcore MAGA. So again, the reason I'm not gonna jump on the bus that's attacking and saying Candace has lost her mind is because I know what it's like. I know what it feels like for people to gang up against you because you said something they don't agree with, or something that seems so crazy that how could this be true? How you feel about that? Everyone has the right to their own opinion, correct? So you can unfollow her, whatever you want to do that. But I'm just asking y'all to please just look at this through a critical lens and don't be so quick to jump to conclusions. Because some of the people who sound the craziest are usually right. And I mean, no, we are conspiracy theorists, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're all called conspiracy theorists. Especially when it came to issues like the Fauci ouchie and, you know, the issues it caused, which I'm going to make that in a separate video. I did not get the Fauci ouchie. I refused. It was offered to me in Kenya. We actually missed a flight to the United States because they wouldn't let us on the flight until we got updated tests under the Biden administration. And they offered me, hey, do you want to get, vaxxed? I was like, nope, no thanks. I'm good, and never. And then we got called anti-vaxxers. Everyone who refused the Fauci ouchie got called an anti-vaxxer. Even if we're not anti-vaccines, we're just anti that particular one. So again, halt, stop, pause, and think through why you're jumping on the bandwagon, right? So I'm just saying, look at things with a critical mindset and take everything in with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything you see, but don't doubt everything you see either. I guess that's the best way I can say that. To be completely honest, I don't know how else to say that, y'all. But looking at someone's perspective changing and shifting and it seeming so radical, and then you decide it's because of who they married or because of that they had so many children, so you're calling her insane now. Have I not had those exact same sentiments from the leftists? They're so insulting. You can say you don't know what's going on. See, you can say that. You can say, hey, I'm concerned that her views seem to have shifted so much. I've been called a sellout. What is the freaking difference between what you're saying to her and what people said about me? I never once got a cent from anyone. And I think she's amazing. She's an amazing mom, an amazing wife. Like I said, we don't align on every single thing. I don't agree with everything she says, but I do respect her. And I respect the fact that she stands so strong and doesn't back down no matter who says what. That is, and as a journalist myself, I studied journalism in Kenya at university. I just happened to fall in the public relations. I did a double major in communication and PR. I just ended up in PR, but I'm actually trained to be a journalist. So as a fellow journalist, I can respect the goal she has, the passion she portrays, and how strong she is in her stances and the foundation she's laid for that. The balls to leave the Daily Wire, because that must have been a really big risk she took, and having grown and surpassed their following as far as subscribers and growth, to stand on our own 2 feet no matter what people say, that takes a lot, y'all. Not a lot of people have that. I said something. I said, if you can want to stand alone, and you'd rather stand alone than fall into a group or a side because it's safe, I have a lot of respect for you. You might be wrong. You might be as wrong as the most wrong person, but I will have so much respect for you if you have that level of commitment, that you stand strong in your word. You have that pure passion that a lot of people lack nowadays. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything, right? That's what they say. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Just wanted to throw that up there, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. I know it's a little bit of a longer video. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. I would love to grow my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel and be more consistent. So I appreciate all of your support, y'all. I will see you in the next video. Kenyan Hippie out.